Fellow film fans, what up? It's your boy Take Talks Talkies and Let's Talk Film. I finally watched, after 23 years of it being released, the greatest zombie apocalypse movie of all time, and it is 28 Days Later, 2002. Danny Boyle, Cillian Murphy, Alex Garland. This movie is incredible. I want to talk about the brilliance of this movie. Why is it so unique, Tay? I'm glad you asked, Tay. It's so unique because, unlike really any other apocalypse movie, it drops us into the story at the same time it is dropping the protagonist into the story. So, our lead, Cillian Murphy's Jim, he wakes up from a coma at the exact same time that we start the film. So, Alex Garland did this brilliant thing where we are entering this apocalyptic world at the same time as our protagonist, which gives an unparalleled amount of sympathy to our protagonist because we, just like him, are entering this world together. So our bond to this character is very unique. Now, this movie was made for $8 million, which in 2002 standards is still not a lot of money at all. But today, people sneeze $8 million on a movie set. So it is incredible this movie was made for this low amount of money. And what's really amazing about it is it grossed over 10 times that amount. It made about $85 million worldwide. And another brilliant thing about this movie is it was filmed on a low resolution camera. So this movie was made guerrilla style. They had to get really hard shots. Shots of London completely devoid of any people. How do you do that? Well, you can't lug these giant cameras, giant lights. You got to use a small camera. So they did that. And in a stroke of brilliance, they kept that aesthetic throughout the whole film, and it aligns perfectly with this apocalyptic world. It is fantastic. Everything about this movie, Naomi Harris's protagonist character, who, let me just point out, is the perfectly written female protagonist. She is tough, she is brave, but it doesn't feel like it's forced. It doesn't feel like it's contrived or fake. It feels really, really genuine. And the way she's written is brilliant. So Hollywood movies, especially in the modern era, need to take note of characters like hers because she's fantastic. We have Brendan Gleeson, who is fantastic. Another brilliant thing that this movie did is these aren't traditional zombies. These aren't the living dead that we are used to with zombies. These are humans still, and they're infected with a rage disease. So it's a disease that makes the human devoid of anything except for anger, rage, violence, and they become monsters. They run as fast as they can. They're flailing around. They have no control of their mind except when it comes to lashing out in anger. And it makes killing these characters a lot more heavy for our protagonists. They have to murder humans, essentially. We see it with Cillian Murphy's character. He has to kill a boy at one point, and it's hard for him, and it changes him because just a couple days ago, he woke up from a coma, and he was, by all practical standards, a good human. And now he's having to kill people that are infected. It's very unfortunate. It's very intense. Brendan Gleeson, his character, blood from the infected gets into his eye, and he has to be put down. And it's very, very tough, but it's a reality of this world that Alex Garland wrote, and it is brilliant. Speaking of that Brendan Gleeson scene, brilliant. He did not have to lash out in anger. So the disease that's infecting all of these zombies is a anger disease. And they finally get to this base that they've been trying to reach where they heard a radio call and they think that there's military there, and they get there and they can't find anybody. And Brendan Gleeson, he's sulking, he's sitting down, he's wallowing, and there's a crow, and the crow is crowing. It's doing what crows do. It crows. And he loses his composure. He loses his cool. And he kicks the door that the crow is perched on, but it's also perched on a dead infected. And when he kicks the door in anger, blood gets into his eye from the infected. And it's just this brilliant little scene. It's horrible, sad irony because right after this happens and he becomes infected, turns out there is military and they have to kill him. But it's this brilliant scene that shows when you lose your composure and let anger win, bad things happen. He didn't have to lash out and kick the crow, but he did in a fit of rage, and it cost him everything, his life. And there's just so many brilliant things that happen in this movie. Danny Boyle's directing in this movie is incredible. He does this thing where when there's about to be a zombie attack, it cuts to a point of view shot. It's a very brief point of view shot, but the zombie attacks are never completely out of the blue. We always get a couple seconds, maybe just a second, maybe two or three, but we always get some sort of point of view shot indicating there's about to be a zombie attack, and it builds anticipation in the viewer, but it also gives the viewer a sense of how fast and how erratic these zombies move. It's very, very intimidating and frightening. And just everything about this movie is fantastic. It is, by my estimation, the greatest zombie movie of all time. And I am so excited for Danny Boyle to return and release 28 years later this year, 2025. I am so excited for it. I'm going to watch 28 Weeks Later soon. I'm a little disappointed to find out that he didn't direct that one, but I'm still going to watch it, and I hope I like it. But 28 years later, I'm so excited about, and 28 Days Later is incredible. Only in a movie like this could you feel such cathartic release from a group of characters just going to the grocery store. There's a scene where they're in the grocery store, and it is so joyous. It is so wonderful. And Danny Boyle just really had fun with the artistry of filmmaking in this one. There's a scene where we see a field of flowers, and it's manipulated to look like a painting of flowers. And just little stuff like that. Such an artistic film. It's such a wonderful film. It's so well written. It's so well directed. Everything about it. It's so well acted. Every single thing is firing at 100%. And I gave it a 5 out of 5 on Letterboxd. Follow me on Letterboxd. Subscribe. All it takes is pushing a little button. And if you love film, you will love my channel. I guarantee that. I'm going to keep pumping out good content for everybody. And I appreciate every view. You guys are the best. That's all I got for you. Stay tuned. Tay out.